Welcome to ExHubMCQs channel. Today's topic, the human eye and the colorful world. 100 MCQs for better understanding and exam success. Eye 1. What is the primary function of the cornea in the human eye? Option A, focusing light. Option B, generating signals. Option C, refraction of light. Option D, absorbing light. The correct answer is option C, refraction of light. Explanation. The cornea forms the transparent outer layer of the eye and is responsible for most of the refraction that light undergoes before entering the eye. This refraction helps focus the image onto the retina. MCQ. Which part of the eye adjusts the size of the pupil? Option A, retina. Option B, lens. Option C, cornea. Option D, iris. The correct answer is option D, iris. Explanation. The iris is a dark muscular diaphragm that surrounds the pupil and adjusts its size to control the amount of light entering the eye, ensuring proper vision. MCQ3. What is the least distance of distinct vision for a normal young adult? Option A, 10 cm. Option B, 25 cm. Option C, 1 meter. Option D, 50 centimeters. The correct answer is option B, 25 centimeter. Explanation. For a young adult with normal vision, the least distance of distinct vision is 25 centimeters. At this distance, the eye can see objects clearly without strain. MCQ4. What type of lens is used to correct myopia? Option A, convex. Option B, concave. Option C, cylindrical. Option D, none. The correct answer is option B, concave. Explanation. A concave lens is used to correct myopia by diverging light rays so they focus on the retina instead of in front of it. This allows clear distant vision. MCQ5. Which refractive defect is also known as farsightedness? Option A, myopia. Option B, hypermetropia. Option C, astigmatism. Option D, presbyopia. The correct answer is option B, hypermetropia. Explanation. Hypermetropia, or farsightedness, occurs when light focuses behind the retina, making nearby objects appear blurry. This is corrected using a convex lens. M6. What causes presbyopia, commonly observed in aging individuals? Option A, loss of corneal shape. Option B, weakening of eye muscles. Option C, elongation of the eye. Option D, reduction in iris size. The correct answer is option B, weakening of eye muscles. Explanation. Presbyopia arises due to the weakening of ciliary muscles and reduced flexibility of the lens. This condition makes it difficult for the eye to focus on nearby objects. MCQ 7. What is the phenomenon responsible for the twinkling of stars? Option A, atmospheric refraction. Option B, dispersion. Option C, scattering of light. Option D, reflection of light. The correct answer is option A, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. The twinkling of stars occurs due to atmospheric refraction, where starlight bends as it passes through different layers of the Earth's atmosphere, causing apparent brightness fluctuations. MCQ 8. Why do planets not twinkle like stars? Option A, lack of atmosphere. Option B, being closer to Earth. Option C, larger size and distance. Option D, absence of refraction. The correct answer is option B, being closer to Earth. Explanation. Planets do not twinkle because they are closer to Earth and appear as extended sources of light. The effects of atmospheric refraction average out, unlike point-sized stars. MCQ 9. What phenomenon causes the blue color of the sky? Option A, reflection of sunlight. Option B, dispersion of light. Option C, scattering of light. Option D, atmospheric refraction. The correct answer is option C, scattering of light. Explanation. The blue color of the sky is caused by the scattering of sunlight by air molecules. Shorter wavelengths, like blue, scatter more efficiently than longer wavelengths like red. 10. What is the role of a prism in creating a spectrum? Option A, refracts light parallel. Option B, dispersion of light. Option C, scatters light randomly. Option D, reflects light internally. The correct answer is option B, dispersion of light. Explanation: a prism disperses white light into its constituent colors by bending different wavelengths at varying angles. This creates a spectrum with colors arranged in the order of VBUR. MCQ 11. What is the ability of the eye to focus on objects at different distances called? Option A, accommodation. Option B, presbyopia. Option C, hypermetropia. Option D, myopia. The correct answer is option A, accommodation. Explanation: the eye's ability to adjust its focal length, enabling it to focus on both near and distant objects, is called accommodation. This adjustment is controlled by the ciliary muscles and the flexibility of the lens. MQ12. What happens to the eye lens when focusing on distant objects? Option A, becomes thicker. Option B, becomes thinner. Option C, remains unchanged. Option D, shifts backward. The correct answer is option B, becomes thinner. Explanation: when focusing on distant objects, the ciliary muscles relax, causing the lens to become thinner and its focal length to increase. This adjustment allows the eye to focus light properly on the retina. MCQ 13. What is the farthest point up to which a normal eye can see objects clearly? Option A, 10 meters. Option B, infinity. Option C, 100 meters. Option D, 25 centimeters. The correct answer is option B, infinity. Explanation: for a normal eye, the farthest point at which objects can be seen clearly is infinity. The eye's lens adjusts to focus on objects that are extremely far away. MCQ 14. Which condition is caused by the elongation of the eyeball or excessive curvature of the lens? Option A, myopia. Option B, hypermetropia. Option C, presbyopia. Option D, astigmatism. The correct answer is option A, myopia. Explanation: myopia, or nearsightedness, is caused by the elongation of the eyeball or excessive curvature of the lens. This results in light rays focusing in front of the retina, causing blurry distant vision. MCQ 15. What is the purpose of bifocal lenses? Option A, correct astigmatism. Option B, correct 2 defects of vision. Option C, improved night. Option D, correct color blindness. The correct answer is option B, correct 2 defects of vision. Explanation: bifocal lenses are designed to correct both myopia, distant vision, and hypermetropia, near vision, simultaneously. The upper part corrects distant vision, and the lower part aids in near vision. MCQ 16. What happens to light when it passes through a prism? Option A, scattered equally. Option B, reflected internally. Option C, dispersed into colors. Option D, absorbed partially. The correct answer is option C, dispersed into colors. Explanation: when light passes through a prism, it undergoes dispersion. This separates white light into its constituent colors, creating a spectrum due to the different bending angles of each wavelength. What is the sequence of colors observed in the spectrum of white light? Option A, option B, ICSE, option D, VGY or V. The correct answer is option B, YOR. The sequence of colors in the spectrum formed by the dispersion of white light through a prism is VIB-YOR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. M18. What natural phenomenon is caused by the dispersion of sunlight by water droplets? Option A, rainbow. Option B, halo. Option C, aurora borealis. Option D, mirage. The correct answer is option A, rainbow. Explanation: a rainbow is a natural spectrum formed when sunlight is dispersed by water droplets in the atmosphere. The droplets act like tiny prisms, refracting, internally reflecting, and dispersing light. MQ19. Why does the sun appear reddish during sunrise and sunset? Option A, greater refraction. Option B, absence of blue light. Option C, scattering of blue light. Option D, change in temperature. The correct option C, scattering of blue light. Explanation: during sunrise and sunset, the sun's light passes through a thicker layer of the atmosphere. Shorter wavelengths like blue scatter away, allowing the longer red wavelengths to dominate. 20. What effect explains the visibility of a light beam in a dusty or smoky room? Option A, dispersion. Option B, Tyndall effect. Option C, internal reflection. Option D, atmospheric refraction. The correct answer is option B, Tyndall effect. Explanation: the Tyndall effect occurs when light scatters off fine particles in a medium like dust or smoke, making the path of the light beam visible to the human eye. MCQ 21. What is the minimum distance at which the human eye can see objects clearly without strain? Option A, 25 meter. Option B, 25 centimeter. Option C, 10 centimeters. Option D, 2.5 meter. The correct answer is option B, 25 centimeters. Explanation: the least distance of distinct vision for a normal human eye is 25 centimeters. At this distance, objects can be seen clearly without causing strain to the eye. MCQ 22. What is the term for the partial or complete loss of vision due to clouding of the lens? Option A, cataract. Option B, myopia. Option C, presbyopia. Option D, hypermetropia. The correct answer is option A, cataract. Explanation: a cataract is a condition where the lens becomes cloudy or opaque, leading to blurred or impaired vision. This condition can often be corrected through surgery. MCQ 23. Which lens is used to correct hypermetropia? Option A, concave. Option B, convex. Option C, cylindrical. Option D, spherical. The correct answer is option B, convex. Explanation: hypermetropia or farsightedness is corrected using a convex lens. This lens converges light rays, helping them focus on the retina and allowing nearby objects to be seen clearly. 24. What causes the splitting of white light into its constituent colors? Option A, refraction. Option B, dispersion. Option C, scattering. Option D, absorption. The correct answer, option B, dispersion. Explanation: dispersion occurs when white light passes through a prism. The light splits into its constituent colors because each wavelength refracts at a different angle, forming a spectrum. MCQ 25. Why is red used in danger signals? Option A, absorbs maximum light. Option B, scatters less. Option C, most visible color. Option D, appears brighter. The correct answer is option B, scatters less. Explanation: red is used in danger signals because it scatters the least in the atmosphere due to its long wavelength. This makes it visible over long distances, even in fog or haze. MCQ 26. What causes the apparent flattening of the sun's disk during sunrise and sunset? Option A, atmospheric reflection. Option B, dispersion of sunlight. Option C, atmospheric refraction. Option D, scattering of blue light. The correct answer is option C, atmospheric refraction. Explanation: atmospheric refraction bends the sun's light as it travels through the Earth's atmosphere, causing the sun's disk to appear flattened at sunrise and sunset and visible even before it crosses the horizon. MCQ 27. Which phenomenon explains why the sky appears dark to astronauts in space? Option A, lack of refraction. Option B, absence of atmosphere. Option C, weak gravitational pull. Option D, stronger sunlight. The correct answer is option B, absence of atmosphere. Explanation: in space, the absence of atmosphere means no scattering of sunlight occurs. This is why the sky appears dark to astronauts, unlike on Earth where the atmosphere scatters sunlight, making the sky appear blue. 28. Which color in the spectrum bends the least when passing through a prism? Option A. Option B, violet. Option C, blue. Option D, green. The correct answer is option A, red. Explanation. Red light bends the least when passing through a prism due to its longer wavelength. Longer wavelengths refract less compared to shorter wavelengths like violet. M29. What is the role of the retina in the human eye? Option A, focuses light. Option B, regulates pupil size. Option C, converts light to signals. Option D, refracts light. The correct answer is option C, converts light to signals. Explanation. The retina is a delicate membrane with light-sensitive cells that convert incoming light into electrical signals. These signals are transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve for interpretation. MCQ 30. What causes stars to appear higher than their actual position in the sky? Option A, reflection of light. Option B, dispersion of light. Option C, scattering of light. Option D, atmospheric refraction. The correct answer is option D, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. Stars appear higher than their actual position due to atmospheric refraction. The light from stars bends as it passes through layers of the Earth's atmosphere with varying densities. Q31. What is the condition called when a person cannot see nearby objects clearly? Option A, myopia. Option B, hypermetropia. Option C, presbyopia. Option D, astigmatism. The correct answer is option B, hypermetropia. Explanation. Hypermetropia, or farsightedness, occurs when the image of nearby objects forms behind the retina due to a longer focal length or a smaller eyeball. This condition is corrected using a convex lens. MCQ. Which light-sensitive cells in the retina are responsible for detecting color? Option A, rod cells. Option B, cone cells. Option C, optic cells. Option D, ciliary cells. The correct answer is option B, cone cells. Explanation. Cone cells in the retina are responsible for detecting and distinguishing colors. They are sensitive to different wavelengths of light and work best in bright light conditions. 33. What is the focal length of a lens with a power of -5.5 diopters? Option A, 9.18 meters. Option B, 18 meter. Option C, 9.55. Option D, 5.5 meter. The correct answer is option A, 9.18 meters. Explanation. The focal length of a lens is calculated as the reciprocal of its power. For a power of -5.5 diopters, the focal length is -0.18 meters, or 1 divided by 95.5. MCQ 34. Which phenomenon explains why stars sometimes appear brighter and sometimes dimmer? Option A, reflection. Option B, refraction. Option C, twinkling. Option D, scattering of light. The correct answer is option C, twinkling. Explanation. Twinkling is caused by atmospheric refraction. Variations in the Earth's atmosphere cause the light path to fluctuate, leading to changes in the apparent brightness of stars. MCQ 35. How is the near point of the eye affected by presbyopia? Option A, remains constant. Option B, moves closer. Option C, moves farther away. Option D, disappears. The correct answer is option C, moves farther away. Explanation. Presbyopia causes the near point of the eye to move farther away due to reduced flexibility of the lens and weakening of the ciliary muscles. This makes it difficult to focus on nearby objects. MCQ 36. What is the primary cause of the blue color of the sky? Option A, reflection of sunlight. Option B, dispersion of sunlight. Option C, scattering of blue light. Option D, absorption of blue light. The correct answer is option C, scattering of blue light. Explanation. The blue color of the sky is caused by the scattering of shorter wavelengths of light, such as blue, by air molecules in the atmosphere. These shorter wavelengths scatter more effectively than longer wavelengths like red. MC 37. What type of lens is used to correct both myopia and hypermetropia? Option A, cylindrical. Option B, convex concave. Option C, bifocal. Option D, spherical. The correct answer is option C, bifocal. Explanation. Bifocal lenses are used to correct both myopia nearsightedness and hypermetropia farsightedness. These lenses have two segments, one for distant vision and one for near vision. What happens to light rays as they pass through the Earth's atmosphere during sunrise or sunset? Option A, bend towards normal. Option B, spread uniformly. Option C, refract away from normal. Option D, travel in a straight line. The correct answer is option A, bend towards normal. Explanation. During sunrise and sunset, light rays bend towards the normal as they pass through the denser layers of the Earth's atmosphere, causing the sun to appear slightly above its actual position. MCQ 39. How does a concave lens correct myopia? Option A, converges light rays. Option B, diverges light rays. Option C, absorbs scattered light. Option D, reduces refraction. The correct answer is option B, diverges light rays. Explanation. A concave lens diverges incoming light rays before they enter the eye, ensuring that the rays focus directly on the retina instead of in front of it, correcting the blurred vision associated with myopia. MCQ 40. What is the phenomenon called when white light separates into a spectrum of colors? Option A, scattering. Option B, dispersion. Option C, refraction. Option D, Tyndall effect. The correct answer is option B, dispersion. Explanation. Dispersion occurs when white light passes through a prism and separates into its constituent colors due to the different bending angles of each wavelength, forming a spectrum. MCQ 41. What is the condition called when the crystalline lens becomes cloudy, affecting vision? Option A, myopia. Option B, hypermetropia. Option C, cataract. Option D, presbyopia. The correct answer is option C, cataract. Explanation. Cataract is a condition where the crystalline lens becomes cloudy or opaque, leading to blurred or impaired vision. This condition can often be corrected through surgery to restore clear vision. MC 42. Why does the sun appear larger during sunrise and sunset? Option A, atmospheric refraction. Option B, dispersion of sunlight. Option C, scattering of blue light. Option D, reflection of sunlight. The correct answer is option A, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. Atmospheric refraction bends the sun's light as it travels through the Earth's atmosphere, causing the sun to appear larger and flattened near the horizon during sunrise and sunset. MCQ 43. Which layer of the eye contains light-sensitive cells like rods and cones? Option A, cornea. Option B, retina. Option C, iris. Option D, pupil. The correct answer is option B, retina. Explanation. The retina is a light-sensitive layer in the eye that contains rods for low-light vision and cones for color detection. It converts light into electrical signals sent to the brain through the optic nerve. MCQ 44. What is the name of the phenomenon where the apparent position of a star fluctuates? Option A, twinkling. Option B, scattering. Option C, refraction. Option D, diffusion. The correct answer is option A, twinkling. Explanation. Twinkling is caused by atmospheric refraction. Variations in the Earth's atmosphere cause starlight to bend differently, leading to fluctuations in the star's apparent position and brightness. MCQ 45. What is the normal far point of the human eye? Option A, 25 centimeters. Option B, 1 meters. Option C, infinity. Option D, 10 meters. The correct answer is option C, infinity. Explanation. For a normal human eye, the far point is at infinity. This means the eye can focus on objects that are extremely far away without strain. And 46. Why is the color red used in traffic signals? Option A. Red is the most visible color. Option B. Red is least scattered. Option C. Red is reflected most brightly. Option D. Red absorbs light. The correct answer is option B. Red is least scattered. Explanation. Red is used in traffic signals because it has the longest wavelength and is the least scattered by the atmosphere. This ensures it remains visible over longer distances, even in adverse conditions. M47. What optical device can correct presbyopia? Option A. Convex lens. Option B. Concave lens. Option C. Bifocal lens. Option D. Cylindrical lens. The correct answer is option C, bifocal lens. Explanation. Presbyopia, a condition that affects both near and distant vision, is corrected using bifocal lenses. These lenses combine convex and concave sections to address both visual defects. Which component of white light bends the most in a prism? Option A, red. Option B, green. Option C, blue. Option D, violet. The correct answer is option D, violet. Explanation. Violet light bends the most in a prism because it has the shortest wavelength. Shorter wavelengths refract at greater angles compared to longer wavelengths like red. MC49. What is the band of colors produced when white light is dispersed through a prism called? Option A, spectrum. Option B, beam. Option C, halo. Option D, aurora. The correct answer is option A, spectrum. Explanation. A spectrum is the band of colors formed when white light is dispersed through a prism. The colors are arranged in the order of violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Why is the sky black when observed from space? Option A, sunlight is weaker in space. Option B, no scattering in space. Blue light is absorbed. Option D, atmosphere blocks sunlight. The correct answer is option B, no scattering in space. Explanation. The sky appears black in space because there is no atmosphere to scatter sunlight. On Earth, scattering by air molecules gives the sky its blue color, but this phenomenon is absent in the vacuum of space. MC51. Which part of the eye controls the amount of light entering it? Option A, cornea. Option B, retina. Option C, pupil. Option D, iris. The correct answer is option D. Explanation. The iris is a muscular structure that adjusts the size of the pupil to control the amount of light entering the eye. This mechanism protects the retina and ensures optimal vision in varying light conditions. CQ52. What is the angle called between the two lateral faces of a prism? Option A, angle of refraction. Option B, angle of dispersion. Option C, angle of deviation. Option D, angle of the prism. The correct answer is option D, angle of the prism. Explanation. The angle between the two lateral faces of a prism is known as the angle of the prism. It plays a critical role in determining how light is refracted and dispersed through the prism. MC53. Which condition is caused by the weakening of ciliary muscles with age? Option A, myopia. Option B, hypermetropia. Option C, presbyopia. Option D, astigmatism. The correct answer is option C, presbyopia. Presbyopia is an age-related condition where the weakening of ciliary muscles and reduced flexibility of the eye lens make it difficult to focus on nearby objects. MCQ 54. What is the phenomenon responsible for the formation of a rainbow? Option A, refraction and reflection. Option B, dispersion and refraction. Option C, scattering and diffusion. Option D, reflection and absorption. The correct answer is option B, dispersion and refraction. Explanation. A rainbow forms due to the dispersion and refraction of sunlight by water droplets in the atmosphere. These droplets act as tiny prisms, splitting light into its constituent colors. 55. What is the normal near point of the human eye? Option A, 1 mem. Option B, 20 centimeters. Option D, infinity. The correct answer is option B, 25 centimeters. The normal near point of the human eye is 25 centimeters. This is the minimum distance at which an object can be clearly seen without causing strain to the eyes. MCQ 56. What happens to the pupil in bright light? Option A, expands. Option B, contracts. Option C, becomes opaque. Option D, remains unchanged. The correct answer is option B, contracts. Explanation. In bright light, the pupil contracts to limit the amount of light entering the eye. This protects the retina from excessive light and prevents potential damage. MC 57. Why is the sun visible before actual sunrise? Option A, atmospheric reflection. Option B, atmospheric refraction. Option C, dispersion of sunlight. Option D, internal reflection. The correct answer is option B, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. The sun appears visible before actual sunrise due to atmospheric refraction, which bends sunlight towards the Earth. This makes the sun appear above the horizon even when it is below it. MC 58. What is the role of ciliary muscles in the eye? Option A, control pupil size. Option B, adjust focal length. Option C, protect the retina. Option D, prevent scattering. The correct answer is option B, adjust focal length. Explanation. Ciliary muscles adjust the curvature of the eye lens, changing its focal length. This ability, called accommodation, helps the eye focus on objects at varying distances. MC 59. Which phenomenon is responsible for the reddish appearance of the sun during sunset? Option A, dispersion. Scattering of light. Option C, internal reflection. Option D, refraction. The correct answer is option B, scattering of light. Explanation. The reddish appearance of the sun during sunset occurs because shorter wavelengths, like blue and green, are scattered away, leaving longer wavelengths like red to dominate the observed light. MCQ 60. Which color of light scatters the least in the atmosphere? Option A. Option B, green. Option C, yellow. Option D, red. The correct answer is option D, red. Explanation. Red light scatters the least in the atmosphere due to its longer wavelength. This is why it is used in warning signals and appears prominently during sunrise and sunset. MCQ 61. What is the bending of light when it passes through different media called? Option A, reflection. Option B, dispersion. Option C, refraction. Option D, scattering. The correct answer is option C, refraction. Explanation. Refraction is the bending of light when it passes from one medium to another with a different refractive index. This change in speed and direction occurs at the boundary of the two media. MC 62. Which phenomenon allows sunlight to create a visible spectrum when passing through a prism? Option A, reflection. Option B, dispersion. Option C, diffusion. Option D, scattering. The correct answer is option B, dispersion. Explanation. Dispersion occurs when sunlight passes through a prism. Different wavelengths of light refract at different angles, separating white light into its constituent colors, forming a spectrum. MC 63. What causes the apparent wavering of objects seen through hot air? Option A, reflection. Option B, refraction. Option C, diffusion. Option D, scattering. The correct answer is option B, refraction. Explanation. The apparent wavering of objects seen through hot air is caused by refraction. Hot air has a lower refractive index than cooler air, bending light rays differently and creating a shimmering effect. M64. What is the primary cause of the Tyndall effect? Option A, absorption of light. Option B, reflection of light. Option C, scattering of light. Option D, refraction of light. The correct answer is option C, scattering of light. Explanation. The Tyndall effect occurs when light scatters off colloidal particles in a medium, making the light beam visible. This phenomenon can be observed in smoke-filled rooms or dense forests. BPSC 65. Which color of light bends the most in a prism? Option A, red. Option B, green. Option C, blue. Option D, violet. The correct answer is option D, violet. Explanation. Violet light bends the most when passing through a prism because it has the shortest wavelength. Shorter wavelengths refract more than longer ones, like red. MC 66. Why do we see multiple colors in a rainbow? Option A, scattering of sunlight. Option B, dispersion of sunlight. Option C, reflection by water droplets. Option D, absorption of light. The correct answer is option B, dispersion of sunlight. Explanation. A rainbow forms due to the dispersion of sunlight by water droplets in the atmosphere. The droplets act as prisms, splitting the light into its constituent colors. MCQ 67. What causes the stars to twinkle? Option A, atmospheric dispersion. Option B, atmospheric refraction. Option C, internal reflection. Option D, scattering of starlight. The correct answer is option B, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. Stars twinkle because their light undergoes continuous refraction as it passes through layers of the Earth's atmosphere with varying densities, causing fluctuations in their apparent brightness and position. MC 68. Why is the path of a light beam visible in a smoke-filled room? Option A, refraction. Option B, diffusion. Option C, Tyndall effect. Option D, dispersion. The correct answer is option C, Tyndall effect. Explanation. The Tyndall effect occurs when light scatters off small particles, like those in smoke or mist, making the beam of light visible. This phenomenon is common in smoke-filled rooms or dense fog. M69. What happens to the wavelength of light as it bends more in a medium? Option A, increases. Option B, decreases. Option C, remains unchanged. Option D, changes randomly. The correct answer is option B, decreases. Explanation. The wavelength of light decreases as it bends more in a medium with a higher refractive index. This is why shorter wavelengths like violet bend more than longer wavelengths like red. MCQ 70. What is the main function of the optic nerve? Option A, absorbs light. Option B, transmits signals to the brain. Option C, focuses light on the retina. Option D, adjusts pupil size. The correct answer is option B, transmits signals to the brain. Explanation. The optic nerve carries electrical signals generated by the retina to the brain, where they are processed and interpreted to form visual images. MCQ 71. What is the effect of atmospheric refraction on the position of stars? Option A, makes stars invisible. Option B, makes stars appear lower. Option C, makes stars appear higher. Option D, has no effect. The correct answer is option C, makes stars appear higher. Explanation. Atmospheric refraction bends the light from stars as it passes through the Earth's atmosphere, making stars appear higher in the sky than their actual position. M72. Why can the planets be seen as extended sources of light? Option A, they are very close to Earth. Option B, they emit their own light. Option C, they do not twinkle. Option D, they are larger than stars. The correct answer is option A, they are very close to Earth. Explanation. Planets appear as extended sources of light because they are much closer to Earth compared to stars. This proximity allows the effects of atmospheric refraction to average out, making them steady. MCQ 73. What happens to light when it enters a denser medium? Option A, bends towards the normal. Bends away from the normal. Option C, remains unbent. Option D, becomes scattered. The correct answer is option A, bends towards the normal. Explanation: light bends towards the normal when it enters a denser medium because its speed decreases. This behavior is a key characteristic of refraction. MCQ 74. Which layer of the eye is primarily responsible for generating electrical signals from light? Option A, cornea. Option B, retina. Option C, iris. Option D, optic nerve. The correct answer is option B, retina. Explanation: the retina contains light-sensitive cells, rods and cones, that convert light into electrical signals. These signals are transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve for interpretation. MCQ 75. What is the sequence of colors in a spectrum created by dispersion? Option B, RYBVVGO. Option C, VIBO. D, GBIBIRO. The correct answer is option C, V. Explanation: the sequence of colors in a spectrum formed by the dispersion of white light is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red, abbreviated as VBG or 76. Why do danger signals appear bright and visible even in fog? Option A, longer wavelength of red. Option B, shorter wavelength of red. Option C, red light bends more. Option D, red light scatters strongly. The correct answer is option A, longer wavelength of red. Explanation: red light has the longest wavelength, making it the least scattered by fog or atmospheric particles. This ensures it remains visible over long distances, even in adverse conditions. MCQ 77. Which property of the eye enables us to focus on objects at various distances? Option A, accommodation. Option B, refraction. Option C, dispersion. Option D, scattering. The correct answer is option A, accommodation. Explanation: accommodation is the ability of the eye to adjust its focal length to focus on objects at different distances. This adjustment is made by the ciliary muscles changing the curvature of the lens. MCQ 78. Why does the sky appear blue on a clear day? Option A, scattering of red light. Option B, dispersion of white light. Option C, scattering of blue light. Option D, refraction of blue light. The correct answer is option C, scattering of blue light. Explanation: the sky appears blue because shorter wavelengths, like blue, scatter more effectively than longer wavelengths, like red, due to their interaction with air molecules in the atmosphere. MCQ 79. What type of lens is used to correct nearsightedness? Option A, convex. Option B, Option C, bifocal. Option D, cylindrical. The correct answer is option B, concave. Explanation: a concave lens is used to correct nearsightedness, myopia. It diverges light rays so that they focus directly on the retina instead of in front of it. MCQ 80. What happens to white light when it passes through a glass prism? Option A, refracts into a single ray. Option B, scatters into tiny beams. Option C, splits into a spectrum. Option D, absorbs most wavelengths. The correct answer is option C, splits into a spectrum. Explanation: when white light passes through a glass prism, it undergoes dispersion. This separates the light into its constituent colors, forming a spectrum. MCQ 81. What is the primary cause of myopia? Option A, elongation of the eyeball. Option B, weakening of eye muscles. Option C, clouding of the lens. Option D, shortening of the eyeball. The correct answer is option A, elongation of the eyeball. Explanation: myopia or nearsightedness is primarily caused by the elongation of the eyeball or excessive curvature of the lens. This causes light rays to focus in front of the retina instead of on it, leading to blurred, distant vision. What happens when sunlight passes through a dense forest canopy? Option A, reflection occurs. Option B, dispersion occurs. Option C, Tyndall effect occurs. Option D, refraction occurs. The correct answer is option C, Tyndall effect occurs. Explanation. The Tyndall effect occurs when sunlight passes through a dense forest canopy. Tiny water droplets and particles scatter the light, making the beam of sunlight visible to the human eye. 83. Which type of lens is used to correct hypermetropia? Option A, concave. Option B, convex. Option C, bifocal. Option D, cylindrical. The correct answer is option B, convex. Explanation. Hypermetropia, or farsightedness, is corrected using a convex lens. This lens converges light rays so they focus on the retina, allowing nearby objects to appear clearly. MCQ 84. Why does the sun appear red during sunrise and sunset? Option A, strong refraction. Option B, weak scattering of red. Option C, dispersion of sunlight. Option D, absorption of red light. The correct answer is option B, weak scattering of red. Explanation. During sunrise and sunset, the sun's light passes through a thicker layer of the atmosphere. Shorter wavelengths like blue and green scatter more, while the longer red wavelength dominates the observed light. MCQ 85. Which condition requires bifocal lenses for correction? Option A, myopia. Option B, presbyopia. Option C, hypermetropia. Option D, astigmatism. The correct answer is option B, presbyopia. Explanation. Presbyopia is an age-related condition that affects both near and distant vision. It is corrected using bifocal lenses, which combine concave and convex segments to address both defects. MCQ 86. What is the phenomenon where a beam of light becomes visible due to scattering? Option A, refraction. Option B, dispersion. Option C, Tyndall effect. Option D, reflection. The correct answer is option C, Tyndall effect. Explanation. The Tyndall effect occurs when light is scattered by particles in a medium, such as smoke or mist. This scattering makes the path of the light beam visible to the human eye. 87. Why do stars appear brighter and dimmer at different times? Option A, dispersion of light. Option B, scattering of starlight. Option C, atmospheric refraction. Option D, internal reflection. The correct answer is option C, atmospheric refraction. Explanation. Stars appear brighter and dimmer at different times due to atmospheric refraction. Variations in the density of air layers cause the light from stars to fluctuate, creating the twinkling effect. MCQ 88. What is the far point of a myopic person whose vision is limited to 80 centimeters? Option A, infinity. Option B, 80 centimeters. Option C, 25 centimeters. Option D, 100 centimeters. The correct answer is option B, 80 centimeters. Explanation. The far point of a myopic person is the maximum distance at which they can see clearly. For someone with myopia, objects beyond 80 centimeters appear blurry. 89. What happens to the apparent position of the sun due to atmospheric refraction? Option A, appears higher than actual. Option B, appears lower than actual. Option C, appears red in color. Option D, appears flattened. The correct answer is option A, appears higher than actual. Explanation. Atmospheric refraction bends the sun's light as it passes through the Earth's atmosphere, causing the sun to appear higher than its actual position, making it visible before sunrise and after sunset. C90. Which wavelength of light scatters the most in the atmosphere? Option A. Option B, violet. Option C, green. Option D, yellow. The correct answer is option B, violet. Violet light scatters the most in the atmosphere due to its shorter wavelength. However, the blue light dominates our perception because of its greater sensitivity to our eyes compared to violet. MCQ 91. What is the effect of atmospheric refraction on the shape of the sun during sunrise or sunset? Option A, becomes elongated. Option B, appears flattened. Option C, becomes smaller. Option D, appears circular. The correct answer is option B, appears flattened. Atmospheric refraction causes the sun's image to appear flattened during sunrise and sunset. The light bends differently at the top and bottom edges of the sun, creating this optical illusion. MCQ 92. Why are myopia and hypermetropia considered refractive defects of the eye? Option A, defects of the retina. Option B, issues with the optic nerve. Option C, incorrect focusing of light. Option D, weak eye muscles. The correct answer is option C, incorrect focusing of light. Explanation: myopia and hypermetropia are refractive defects caused by improper focusing of light on the retina. In myopia, light focuses in front of the retina, while in hypermetropia, it focuses behind it. MCQ 93, what causes the splitting of light into its component colors in a prism? Option A, reflection. Option B, scattering. Dispersion. Option D, absorption. The correct answer is option C, dispersion. Explanation: dispersion occurs when light passes through a prism. Different wavelengths of light refract at different angles, splitting the light into its constituent colors, creating a spectrum. MCQ 94. Why does a rainbow always appear opposite the sun? Option A, reflection of sunlight. Option B, dispersion by raindrops. Option C, refraction of sunlight. Option D, internal reflection and dispersion. The correct answer is option D, internal reflection and dispersion. Explanation: a rainbow appears opposite the sun because sunlight undergoes refraction, dispersion, and internal reflection inside water droplets, forming a spectrum of colors that reach the observer's eye. 95. What is the angle of deviation in the context of a prism? Option A, angle between the incident and refracted ray. Option B, angle between the incident and emergent ray. Option C, angle of the prism. Option D, angle of dispersion. The correct answer is option B, angle between the incident and emergent ray. Explanation: the angle of deviation is the angle between the incident ray and the emergent ray when light passes through a prism. This angle depends on the prism's material and geometry. MQ 96. Why do danger signals use the color red? Option A, red absorbs all light. Option B, red is most scattered. Option C, red is least scattered. Option D, red is the fastest color. The correct answer is option C, red is least scattered. Explanation: red is used in danger signals because it has the longest wavelength, making it the least scattered by atmospheric particles. This ensures it remains visible over long distances, even in foggy conditions. MCQ 97. What causes the Tyndall effect? Option A, reflection of light. Option B, refraction in glass. Option C, scattering by particles. Option D, dispersion in air. The correct answer is option C, scattering by particles. Explanation: the Tyndall effect occurs when light is scattered by colloidal particles or tiny suspended particles in a medium. This scattering makes the path of light visible, as seen in mist or smoke-filled rooms. MCQ 98. Why can a myopic person see nearby objects clearly? Option A, elongated eyeball. Option B, shortened focal length. Option C, weak ciliary muscles. Option D, clouding of the lens. The correct answer, option A, elongated eyeball. Explanation: a myopic person has an elongated eyeball, which causes light rays from nearby objects to focus correctly on the retina. Distant objects, however, focus in front of the retina, causing blurry vision. What happens to the focal length of the eye when the ciliary muscles contract? Option A, increases. Option B, decreases. Option C, remains constant. Option D, becomes infinite. The correct answer is option B, decreases. Explanation: when the ciliary muscles contract, the curvature of the eye lens increases, shortening its focal length. This adjustment enables the eye to focus on nearby objects. Why do astronauts see a black sky instead of a blue one? Option A. Sunlight is weaker in space. Option B. No scattering in space. Option C. Blue light is absorbed. Option D. Atmosphere blocks sunlight. The correct answer is option B. No scattering in space. Explanation. The sky appears black in space because there is no atmosphere to scatter sunlight. On Earth, scattering by air molecules gives the sky its blue color, but this phenomenon is absent in the vacuum of space. Thank you for watching ExHubMCQs channel. We hope you found these 100 multiple-choice questions on the human eye and the colorful world helpful for your studies and exams. Understanding concepts like refraction, dispersion, vision defects, and atmospheric phenomena is crucial for mastering optics. These MCQs covered key topics such as myopia, hypermetropia, the Tyndall effect, rainbow formation, and the twinkling of stars. We designed them to strengthen your knowledge and improve your problem-solving skills. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ExHubMCQs channel for more high-quality educational content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Got any doubts or questions? Drop them in the comments section, and we'll be happy to help. Also, let us know which topics you'd like us to cover next. Keep learning, keep growing, and stay curious. See you in the next video with more exciting MCQs. This is ExHubMCQs channel, helping you prepare smarter and faster. Happy learning!